My whole family was staring at me through their screens. My twin sister was holding her fiance's hand. He smiled and told my mom that our childhood problems were just a silly rivalry. But then my best friend leaned into the camera. She looked right at my parents and listed every horrible thing he ever did to me: the slapping, the cruel names, and how he pushed me to self harm. The silence that followed broke my family forever. Welcome back to the channel, guys. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, written by user throwaway underscore Thering Frodo. It's titled, "I'm not going to be the maid of honor for my sister's wedding because she's marrying my bully." Before I share OP's post with you, please like this video. Let's get started. I have 4 older brothers and 1 twin sister, Violet. We are both 31 years old. Growing up, I was always the spare baby. My parents really just wanted one girl, and they got 2 by surprise. Violet was born easily, but my birth was difficult. I caused trouble from the very start. Over time, that just became my role in the family. Violet is beautiful, bright, bubbly, and perfect. She was the first to walk, the first to talk, and the first to win awards. I was the first to get a learning disability, the first to get arrested, and the first to get a bad stutter from stress. When you are the least favorite out of 6 kids, your self-esteem drops to 0. Violet and I were very close when we were little, but we drifted apart in middle school. That was when my real nightmare started. His name was Daniel Swift. Daniel made my life a living hell. At first, adults said he picked on me because he liked me. But soon, it was clear that he just hated me. He always compared me to my beautiful twin sister. He asked people why one twin was pretty and the other was ugly. He called me Lumpy Lily to remind me that I was a little chubby. He was relentless. Once, a teacher found me crying in the school bathroom. I was making myself throw up because of how bad he made me feel about my body. But Daniel was a good liar. He told the school that I was the one bullying him. I got suspended. Another time he slapped me hard. When I tried to tell the teachers, he started crying and said I punched him in the stomach. His friends lied and backed him up. My dad had to leave work to pick me up that day. He didn't believe me at all. He yelled at me for being a troublemaker. He called me defective and a spare part. After that day, I completely shut down. I stopped asking for help. I just kept my head down and took the abuse in silence. Fast forward to today. I live in another state and work as a teacher. I love my life now. I have an amazing best friend named Sunny. Violet and I stayed close over the years, too. She became a nurse, bought a nice house, and seems to have a perfect life. The only thing she wanted was to find a husband and fall in love. Last year, she finally found the one. She called him James. I was so happy for her. But when Easter came around, things took a very dark turn. We were talking about her bringing James to a family dinner. She got quiet and told me we needed to talk. She said James was actually an old crush of mine from school. I told her I didn't remember a boy named James. That's when she told me he used to go by his middle name back then, Daniel. My heart stopped. It was Daniel Swift, my childhood bully. I told her I never had a crush on him. She seemed relieved and said she didn't realize who he was until their 4th date. By then, she already loved him and couldn't leave him. I pulled her aside and told her the truth. I told her he made my childhood a complete nightmare. Violet was upset, but she kept making excuses for him. She asked if I was sure it was him or if maybe I remembered things wrong. I got so frustrated that I just gave up. Months passed and Daniel was at every single family event. Then at a summer family gathering, Violet showed up with a diamond ring. They were engaged. Later that night, she asked me why I was avoiding her. I told her I loved her, but her fiancé was my bully and I didn't want to be around him. She said that, as her maid of honor, I wouldn't have to talk to him much on the wedding day. I stopped her right there. I told her I couldn't be her maid of honor. I didn't feel safe or comfortable standing next to that man. She broke down crying. She accused me of ruining her special time. She said I was forcing her to choose between her sister and her true love. Then she dropped a massive bomb. She said Daniel told her that I used to bully him. Even now in his 30s, he couldn't admit what he did. He was still lying, and my sister believed him. I lost my mind. I told her no one believed me back then, and clearly she wasn't going to believe me now either. I told her I wasn't going to be in the wedding. When my dad dropped me off at the airport, he told me to stop causing trouble. He said I was being selfish and tearing the family apart over my perception of the past. I flew home feeling broken. It took years of heavy therapy for me to stop cutting myself and stop throwing up my food. I worked so hard to build a normal, happy life. Now my family expected me to stand next to the man who caused all that pain just to keep the peace. A few days later, my mom called me. My mom used to travel a lot for work when we were kids, so my dad raised us mostly. She asked me for the whole truth, so I gave it to her. I told her everything Daniel did to me. She was horrified and asked why I never told her. I said I just didn't want to be called a troublemaker again. The next day, my dad started sending me angry text messages. He accused me of trying to rewrite history and throwing him under the bus. He said Daniel was trying to build bridges and my childish tantrum was embarrassing the family. I started crying in a restaurant with my best friend Sonny. Sonny grabbed my phone and texted my dad directly. She told him she was there when we were kids. She saw Daniel slap me and curse at me. She told my dad to call her and call her a liar to her face. My dad immediately stopped texting and sent one last message saying he was done being my father. That afternoon, my mom called an emergency family video chat. Everyone logged on. My parents, all my brothers, Violet with Daniel and me sitting on my couch next to Sonny. Mom took charge. She asked Violet what she knew. Violet defensively said we just had a silly childhood rivalry and we should leave it alone for the wedding. Mom asked Daniel if that was true. He smirked and said it was over 10 years ago and he didn't really remember. Mom pushed harder. She said she had spoken to Daniel's old friends. Daniel panicked and started making up a fake apology, saying his mom was sick back then, so he acted out. That was when Sonny lost it. Sonny leaned into the camera and unleashed everything. She listed every single thing Daniel did to me. She talked about him pushing me until I bled. She talked about him spitting in my hair. She did not hold back. The family started yelling. My dad tried to make excuses, but Mom muted everyone on the call. She looked right at me and asked if it was true. I cried and said yes. I told her I stopped asking for help because Dad never believed me anyway. Sonny wasn't done. She turned to Violet and asked how she could share a bedroom with me for years and never notice that I was cutting myself. The whole family froze. My mom gasped. I admitted that I used to cut myself and starve myself because of Daniel. My oldest brother got mad at me for hiding it, calling me a coward for trying to hurt myself. I couldn't take it anymore. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. While I was gone, Sonny yelled at my family for failing to protect me. Finally, my mom told Daniel to get out of the meeting. He tried to argue, saying he was part of the family now, but she kicked him off the call. She told Violet to leave too. Later that night, my mom called me. She was crying. She apologized for not protecting me and for letting my dad handle things so badly. She promised to pay for a whole year of my therapy to help me heal. The next morning, Violet called me. But she didn't apologize. She blamed me for ruining her wedding. She said I was trying to make our parents get a divorce. She begged me to just accept Daniel's fake apology. I was so tired. I told her I had no fight left in me. I hung up the phone. Violet texted me later saying she needed space from me and then she blocked my number. With my therapist's help, I sent a message to my dad. I told him I needed space and was going low contact. He threw a tantrum and demanded I call him every single week. I told him no, and then I blocked him too. My brothers have been supportive. One of them cried and apologized for not paying closer attention when we were kids. I wish I felt better, but I just feel numb. I finally told the truth, but it broke my family. I'm taking time off from my job as a teacher. I'm going to travel with my dog and just try to heal. Sunny told me a quote that gives me hope. The axe forgets, but the tree remembers. Funny thing about trees, though, their roots run deep and they can heal, and so can you. Let's take a look at what the community had to say about this post. Comment 1. Not the a-hole. I say this gently, but your sister isn't as perfect as you think she is. This man ruined your mental health, and she is fully prepared to marry him while calling you a liar. You set a simple boundary to protect your peace. You do not have to stand up there and smile for the cameras. She is being incredibly selfish. Comment 2. Can we get a huge round of applause for Sunny? She is the real MVP of this story. The fact that she took your dad's phone out of your hands, challenged him, and then laid out the cold, hard truth to your entire family on that Zoom call is legendary. Keep her close. She is the loyal sister that Violet failed to be. Comment 3. Your dad is so toxic. He couldn't handle the reality that he failed to protect you as a kid. So it was easier to label you as the trouble child. His reaction to the truth wasn't sadness for your pain. It was anger that you were making him look bad. Blocking him was the best thing you could do for your own mental health. After reading posts and some community comments, I make my thought, but it's only my thought, not decision. So please, if you have another idea, must share in comments. This really shows why sweeping things under the rug never works out in the end. It just creates a mountain of pain that you eventually trip over. What really stands out to me is the suffocating nature of family roles. Lily was given the role of the troublemaker from the day she was born, simply because her birth was a little more difficult than her golden child sisters. When Daniel targeted her, it was easier for the family, specifically her dad, to blame Lily rather than face the ugly reality that their daughter was being abused. Violet's reaction is deeply disappointing. To admit what Daniel did would mean she has to cancel her dream wedding and accept that the man she loves is a bully. She chose her perfect wedding fantasy over her twin sister's reality and safety. That is a hard pill to swallow, but the absolute star of this story is Sunny. We all need a friend like Sunny in our lives, someone who will take the microphone when our voice is shaking, look our abusers in the eye, and refuse to let them hide the truth. Healing is going to be messy and painful for Lily, but she took the first brave step by setting her boundaries. Okay, please share your opinion. Thanks for watching. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and like this video.